Audience, welcome back to the Value Proposition Podcast, episode
9.
It's been a ride.
It's been so good. It's been so good.
What's been happening? What have you been up to?
Well, obviously, I was in Florida last week, which was great. Got back on Saturday. So then I spent a couple days in London, which was great. Just kind of doing some work. We've got our office there, so that was nice to catch up with everybody in the office. And it's fucking freezing here.
It's cold.
I showed up in a pair of pants and a t-shirt.
So for anyone that doesn't know, pants are jeans or trousers.
Sorry, trousers.
Trousers, yeah.
Yeah, trousers.
Isn't it strange? Isn't that strange? There's so many. They should just have a language that. They should just have a. I don't even know what the word would be. You know what I mean?
I'll do a flyer here.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
They should just have like a worldwide
language
name for objects.
Or objects. Yeah, no, I agree.
Trousers, I mean, they are trousers. Pants, in my opinion, or in the UK, a pair of pants are a pair of like Y front boxers. So,
fucking hell. Okay, yeah.
So every time I hear about you talking about your pants, I just picture you in a pair of Y front boxers.
It's kind of like how we call it a sidewalk, right? I mean, you guys call it a
pavement,
right? And pavement in America means something that you would lay down on the ground to drive a car on.
What would you say?
It's like pavement.
If somebody was like
you're laying pavement.
If someone was riding on a horse, what would you say?
You're riding horseback.
Horseback riding.
Yeah.
Why don't you say horse riding? I mean, you're not going to sit on its...
We like to be overly descriptive, that's why.
You're not going to sit on its head, are you?
Horse head riding. No. It's just horseback riding because like that's what you're doing. It's like, yeah, you can call it horse riding.
It's horse riding.
You might be hanging off the side or something. No? Okay.
I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I'm not buying it either. Anyways, it's really good to be here.
Yeah, it is.
It was really warm back in America, by the way.
My toes are still like frozen.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, I think the Movember thing was great.
Well,
I'm kind of doing it.
You're not doing it.
No.
I've still got mine.
Yeah.
You've cheated.
I got rid of all my hair, though.
Oh, yeah.
I did get rid of all my hair yesterday with you.
With me? Well, you got rid of your hair. You had a haircut.
I had a haircut.
I took you to my barber.
Yeah. By the way, shout out. That was unbelievable.
Good friends.
That was so good.
So you got your hair.
Yeah. No, your haircut looks great, by the way. I like yours.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's nice.
Nice. That's nice.
Thank you.
So,
anyways,
what else is new?
Same old.
We've made a lot of progress on.
Oh well, okay. Yes. Business-wise,
we've
been
made
a
lot
very
of
good
progress.
week so far.
So we can kind of talk about that first.
Yeah, I think we should.
So
give a little update.
Yeah,
to our friends.
All of them.
All 42.
So in the last episode, we talked about the business that we started, Value Proposition Consulting.
Yeah.
We started that in episode 4 or 5.
I think it was 4 or 5. Yeah.
And we've been making good progress with that as well. So for us, we are going to put out a waiting list for a 10-step guide.
Yep.
To 100K for an estate agent. The waiting list will come out. We've made some good progress with Jude and Darren.
Yeah, websites.
I made some more progress when I was on the train this morning.
Nice.
So I think we're just about ready to get ads out for the waiting list.
Yes.
Once we get a gauge on the waiting list, we will then bring out the 10-step guide.
Yeah.
The 10-step guide will then filter into a higher ticket offer that goes into some serious depth, which will then lead into a community. So there's more to come on that. And
Absolutely.
I'm excited about that.
No,
I really
100%.
am. I'm excited about that because there's it all feeds into one another as well. Like the podcast is great to talk about these kind of things because obviously that's what we like talking about. On top of that, the consulting side of things is exciting because that's good fun. You're helping people out.
Yeah, I mean, we get to, throw our knowledge out and, maybe make a difference to people's lives. That's huge.
That's what I found when I was working at Remax. I used to do Q&A sessions with the new agents.
Yeah.
So if there would maybe every couple of months there was maybe 30 new starts.
Yeah.
And it's difficult for them to know how to do things. I mean, the person who's training them on how to be an estate agent doesn't sell any houses.
No.
Their job is to teach people.
Yeah.
And the problem with...
So it's not practical.
No, the problem with... And I've spoken to a couple of people about this in Europe as well, like under the Remax Europe umbrella.
Right.
They said that the problem with getting real estate sales trainers is that all the good agents make too much money
They have no time.
to waste their time training because they don't make enough money training. So the issue is finding somebody that's good, who's done it, that's willing to stop selling to start training. So it's an issue probably globally.
What made you want to do it in the first place then? Because you were successful. I mean, you were doing 80 homes a year.
Well,
so
the opportunity with the company that I work for just now came, and it's a way. So we've touched on it a bit before.
Yeah.
The average fee in Scotland is the lowest out of any area in the world.
Yeah.
You know, we've got 1%. You've got in America, they're making 3, 4, 6%, depending on what the case is like.
Yeah.
For me, the job that I'm in just now allows me to be paid like an American real estate agent while being in Scotland.
Yeah.
And where I am at the moment, I don't have to find the properties to sell them. I don't have to fight to get any business. It's all given to me there. I just have to sell when I'm
One
there,
job.
close the deals. So it was a way for me to make a lot more money.
Yeah.
I was kind of plateaued at what I was doing at Remax. I probably wouldn't have been able to make... I would have been able to make more, but maybe not much more without taking on members of staff and things like that. And I didn't want to do that working with another company. So that was why I gave up. I gave up selling standard residential homes in and around Dundee. Getting into the coaching side of things is now because we've got other interests.
Yeah.
And
we have experience.
Of course.
You know, obviously your experience will be different to mine, but like we've talked about many times, that could be, we think it's going to be very helpful. Because there are two very distinct ways of selling that we've done.
Yeah. And they're both very different.
Very different.
Yeah.
So I think that people will definitely take a liking to some of the things that we're going to touch on.
I think that because the way that it's lined out, we essentially hold their hand throughout the process. Yeah. So it's there step by step.
Yeah.
This, then this, then this, then this. And it's a step by step proven formula. We have done it. Literally in different ways.
It's not a guessing game. Yeah.
And it works, definitely.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, that's why I came out of self-employed real estate agency into the job that I'm in now, and then now doing this. Yeah. And it's almost a way to give back now too. Because if it wasn't for working in self-employed real estate agency with Remax, I would never have been offered the job that I'm at just now, and we would never have been sat here recording this podcast. No, literally.
That's very true.
And I enjoy it as well. Like, I miss that side of things. Like, I miss
it's a lot more fast paced.
Well,
way more.
What I was doing before, I was selling to somebody for 20, 30 minutes. So they're coming, they're doing a viewing, I'm seeing them for 20 minutes, and then they're away. I could have 10 viewings. I could see 10 buyers that day. Whereas I'm now spending 3-4 days with one couple or one family. Yeah. So the sales process is so much longer. But it's different. It's just a different way of doing things. Yeah. And I miss that busy aspect of closing 80, however many it was, like 60, 80 homes a year.
Yeah. It is a different process, like you say. But, you know, they both help each other.
Oh, 100%. And
because now you know how to give that 20-minute client the most value that they can get out of the 20 minutes because you know how to spend 3 to 4 days with just one client.
Well, there's also now things that I've learned in my new job role. I say new, it's not really new now, but that I wish I knew when I was selling homes in Dundee.
Do you think you would have done more
I think
sales?
I could have done more, I think I could have done more sales, knowing what I know now. So it's almost like I can now give that experience to new agents or agents that have hit a bit of a plateau, or young agents who want to be successful. And it's exciting, and I want to pass that on. I want to pass that on because it's better for the industry as a whole. Yeah,
and I think that that's something that needs to change from what you've told me, and you know, what we've talked about over here. There's definitely some changes that are necessary. Okay, nice. Fucking brilliant. I'm constantly impressed by you, Andy, and your commitment to sales. It's fucking unbelievable.
You're winding me up now.
Good stuff.
So first segment, we've done this quite a few times before. I quite enjoy this because
this is, selfishly, audience, this is definitely one of our favorite sort of segments, to be honest. Something that, kind of keeps us motivated, like what keeps us motivated for what we do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's good to get your take on why you've selected these as well.
Yeah.
Because the way that I interpret the way that some of these are is totally different than the way that you interpret it.
Yeah.
And it's this, we're looking at the same sentence, we're looking at the same words on the screen.
Yeah.
But the way that you interpret it in your head is totally different than the way I interpret it. And it's interesting to break that down and talk through it.
Yeah.
So, first of all, Callum, we've got 2 motivational / inspirational thoughts from yourself. I'll tell them back to you. Tell me what you think, and then I'll chip in.
Fantastic.
Okay. He whose life has a why can bear almost any how.
Yeah. So this is from Nietzsche.
Yes.
And I actually read it in the book I'm reading, the Jordan Peterson book. And I came across this just a few days ago while I was traveling. And I was like, oh, that's brilliant. That's so good. To find out the why, you can then create any outcome you want for yourself. Because you know where you're aiming. You know where your focus is. And I think that that's something that we could talk about for hours. Like, how do you find out your focus? How do you figure out where you're supposed to aim? Because that's how we work as people. We talk about all the time. We have a pretty good idea as to where we want to end up. Mm-hmm. So we know that there are a lot of avenues to get there.
Yeah.
And I think that just explains it perfectly. So,
yeah.
Because there are a lot of people, they have no idea what the fuck to do. Like, I don't know what my why is.
So for somebody who maybe doesn't know, what would your advice be to help them try and find their why?
Oof, that's a good question. For me, what I like to try to do is, I obviously write a lot, and I talk to myself a ton, which is terrifying. You wouldn't want to be a part of those fucking conversations. But, I do that with the idea of, where do I see myself in 10 years' time, 15 years, 20 years? Mm-hmm. And I kind of just sort of piece my life off and say, okay, well, right now, for example, I know that in 10 years' time, I want to be in this Mexico project, and I want to be selling the shit out of it, and there are other things along the way that I want to make sure I'm doing. Anka.
By the way, this isn't a female's name. Because just as I said that, I thought, shit, they might think we're talking about, like, oh, man. It's not a female.
No, it's not a female.
We can probably share more about, maybe in the next episode we can talk about.
That's a good idea.
About Anka. Yeah. So stay tuned, episode 10 for Anka.
Yeah.
We will elaborate on that a lot more.
So I like to think, where do I want to position myself? And also who do I need to get there?
Yeah, I think one thing that, I've been asked a couple of times, more than a couple of times, many times, how did you decide which career you wanted to go into? Because it's such a massive thing for young people.
Oh yeah.
Especially nowadays when they see so many successful people on social media. What they need to understand is they're seeing the best on social media. They're not seeing the worst.
Top 1% of that person's life.
However, people ask me for advice on choosing a career. Go did you get into what you were doing, and how did you know that you want to do that? Well, the answer is, I didn't know that I wanted to do that. I never thought one day, I want to go into real estate sales, or I want to go into sales. It wasn't something I thought about. But one thing that I always was very good at was trying new things and not passing out on opportunities that came across. Yep. So I just tried so many different things, and I never really said no to much.
Yeah, you almost kind of got into it and then said, of course, I'll just figure it out.
Well, and through that process of just trying things, I did this and I love it. I couldn't picture doing anything else now. No. And I never knew I wanted to get into this. So I feel like I know my why now, but I never knew my why before. I only know it because I tried things. Yeah. It didn't just come to me.
You're not 18 years old, you wake up and
that's what I want to do in my life. No, it's not the case. And if you speak to most people who are in an industry that they love, they've not loved it from the start. They've realised that they could do something maybe meaningful, and then you start to enjoy the process when you find out that you're good at something normally.
Yeah. Do you think that you've refined your why? Like, you know, okay, so let's say you found it a year ago, whatever the fuck that means. You know, from year to date, from when you figured that out, do you think that you've been able to refine that and then try to figure out how to get there faster, more efficiently?
Well, yeah, I think so, yeah. And at the end of the day, it's trial and error.
Yeah.
A lot of people we've talked about it, like failure in the past, and people are afraid to fail. It's almost similar to that. But if you're going to try something, don't think about trying it for 3 months and then try it and then it doesn't work. And then you've wasted 3 months thinking about trying it. Try it. If it doesn't work, stop it and try something else. Yeah. But at least you're then not wasting time.
Do it with conviction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not wasting time.
It's kind of like that, like when Matthew McConaughey and the Chris Williamson, when they did that podcast like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. We're talking about it this morning. But when he called up his dad and said, I don't want to do law school anymore. I want to go into film school. And he said the exact same thing you're saying right now. He said it with conviction. Yeah. And it's something you could tell yourself. Like, you have to tell yourself before you could tell someone else. Yeah. At least that's my interpretation.
No, 100%.
Like, you have to be convinced that that's what you're going to try and do.
Yeah, definitely. But if you're going to try something, try it. And actually try it and do it.
Yeah,
and if it doesn't work out, then it's okay. You can try something else. But the worst thing that you could do is dabble for 3-4 months doing it, not really try it. Yeah. And then you've wasted 3-4 months. Try it. Normally you'll find out pretty quick if you like it or not. Yeah. If you don't like it, try something else.
Yeah, it's okay.
It doesn't matter how many things you try. Yeah, There's not a limit on how many things you can try.
Alistair, my dad, he says all the time, he always tells me, he goes, you don't know how many careers you're going to have in your life. You could have 20 different careers. Yeah. If you wanted to. Mm-hmm. You know, it's all about trying and succeeding and failing and all the other things. Like, I mean, between the two of us, we've probably, between all the things that you've tried and done and been somewhat successful at, and myself, I mean, we've probably done almost 24 things.
Yeah, easy.
15 to 20 things at least.
Yeah.
So, but we're still here. We're on like the 16th thing.
Of course,
you know what I mean?
Because
it's all last year.
Yeah, I've said it before. People don't remember the things that you failed at. No. They remember the 1 or 2 things that you were successful at, and then that's what you become known for. It doesn't matter how many things you try and fail.
Yeah, I mean, no one remembers. It's actually weird about the golf. So maybe hockey's kind of similar for you. I wouldn't consider myself a failure at golf by any means.
No.
I mean, we went over the sports and whatever the fuck we did, but like, I would not consider myself a failure in comparison to the average player.
Me as a golfer.
Certainly fucking wouldn't. I'm the best golfer in the world compared to you.
Right, okay.
That's a bit harsh. That's sorry. That's harsh. Sorry. But I decided to change something. Something in my body, in my mind, my heart, whatever, said, okay, well, I think there's something bigger for you in life than just playing golf. Mm-hmm. And that was an internal dialogue I had for months and months and months. Yeah. And I tried to figure out, okay, well, what am I going to do? Yeah. And so I would sit there every day and I'd be like, what the fuck am I going to do?
But then you're...
I knew I wasn't running out of time. Like, I was only 20-something years old. Like, I'm not running out of fucking time here. But, okay, well, let's make an effort into something and figure out what I could do. Anyway, we talked about that. I told you. That's a good fucking...
That's a rabbit hole.
That is.
But it's good. I think that it's important because we're going to have, maybe not just now, but hopefully in the future, we're going to have like an audience of people who are looking to be successful and maybe they don't know their why. Yeah. So it's important for people to understand maybe about how we found ours, how they can find theirs, and the quickest way to finding it. Because even when you are young, you still don't want to waste time.
No.
You don't want to waste time.
And it's one of those things, I don't know if anyone's going to watch and be like, hey, I kind of want to figure my why out. Or, there's some other questions, I think, and thoughts that we'll touch on in this episode that'll help you figure out your why and if you're doing what you're really supposed to be doing. But, I'd love for someone to be like, hey, can we like fucking have a Zoom call? Yeah. I'd love to pick your guys' brain on, how did you find your why? How do I find my why? What questions do I need to ask myself? That's
send us a message.
I fucking love that, by the way. If anyone wants to fucking do it, please. I'm fucking begging you.
I'm waiting, baby.
I'm sitting here, patient.
Next one. Right, Jesus Christ, Calm. This is like a fucking paragraph.
Oh, God, that is a lot. Oh, no, the second part of that's only just my thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah.
How can I be substantial if I do not cast a shadow? I must have a dark side also if I am to be whole.
Wow, that's a lot. Didn't realize it.
How can I be substantial if I do not? How can I be substantial if I do not cast a shadow? I must have a dark side also if I am to be whole.
So to me, I've interpreted that as you have to be aware of your sort of bad qualities, your
Yin
bad
and yang.
characteristics. Yin and yang. Yeah, classic example. Good versus evil. Like what parts of you are, evil in a loose sense of like where do you come short? Where do you fall short? How do you overcome them? You can't overcome all of your bad characteristics.
Where did you see that?
I think it's a Carl Jung quote.
Is it?
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to fact check that after. I should do that before the episode, to be fair. Anyways, yeah, so I just thought it was interesting that I constantly think about all my flaws.
So do you think that that's more about being self-aware?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being self-aware. Yeah, I mean, look, I have tons of, we could have a fucking episode about all of our flaws and we could talk about it for days. Maybe not days. I mean, we
talk about yours.
We can certainly talk about mine for a while. But at the end of the day, I do try to do right by most people.
Yeah.
Do I tell everybody about all the good things I do as a human being? No. Because most of them are unnoticed. They're tiny little things. Like holding the door for somebody is a simple task.
I think it's the things that go unnoticed that add to somebody's character.
But my intention to do whatever the fuck it is I'm choosing to do is for probably a good reason.
Yeah.
I mean, unless I'm telling someone to fuck off. I mean, like you. Yeah. But anyway, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think.
No, I think you're absolutely bang on. Yeah. I think that you need to be self-aware in any circumstance, whether it be life, whether it be business, whether it be friendship, relationship. You need to know what you need to do better.
Yeah.
And listen, there's always going to be things that you can do better.
I got a question now.
Okay.
So in business and specifically, what is one characteristic that you go, I should really fucking get better at that?
We are both bad for this. We're both bad for this.
Let's hear it. I can't wait for this.
Direction. So
Explain.
we look at so many different things.
Oh, I'm fucking horrible for this. You're right.
So we spread ourselves too thin.
Yeah.
We need to be more. I don't want to say disciplined because we're both pretty disciplined, but we need to be more disciplined when it comes to picking
just structure.
Structure.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily. That was probably a bad example.
No, but I think it's fair. I mean, because we talk about different concepts and things.
I mean, we just get started.
Daily.
We just get started with one thing, and then we're thinking about the next thing.
Yeah,
and it's not good in terms of a productivity standpoint because you're never giving your full attention to the task at hand. Yeah. You're too busy thinking about the next one already.
I would say that's probably what I would say for myself. So I'm glad you grouped us together.
Yeah,
thank you.
Well, we're both like that.
We're very guilty for that.
We're both like that. I mean. Yeah. So I'm just going to give a great example of this. Okay. So we've obviously got a lot going on just now.
Yeah, quite a bit.
And Callum, so I'm at the ice rink just before training. He's like, I just want to run something by you. I'm like, all right, okay, here we go. He says, well, I've just been on the golf course, so like the practice range, and I saw a drone. And I'm thinking, what about a drone that was a security guard? Do you think that's a company?
Yeah.
So we then looked into it a bit.
It exists.
And I suppose the only one issue is that
you still need a person.
You still need a person because if the drone security guard finds an issue, a person then needs to fix that issue.
Yeah.
But that's just an example of Callum's brain, when in that sense, moves a lot faster than mine.
But you know, it was funny. So, and this happens. I don't know if this happens to you, but this happens to me all the time. So as soon as I did that, later that night, I met somebody. Guess what they were planning on doing?
That exact thing. Rubber bullets.
I don't know. I didn't ask that part. Fucking tranquilizer, horse tranquilizers. But I was like, that's fucking weird. I thought that was weird. But then I started picking his brain. I was like, so what do you mean? Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And I guess they were going to like there's a drone conference or a security drone conference or something.
Sounds like a market at the moment.
And I was like, oh wow, that's fucking even freakier. Like it's in Miami. That's 2 hours away from where I live.
Yeah.
I haven't checked in to see how that went, but I thought that was just fucking. I mean, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, your turn. Okay. Couple of thoughts from Andy here. So most people fail because they give up what they want most. Oh, fuck.
You sound like you've just started reading.
All right. So most people fail because they give up what they want most for what they want now.
Yes.
Tell us more.
I first heard this quote, maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Okay.
And I just think it's the instant gratification rather than what are you laughing at?
I'm not laughing.
It's the instant gratification rather than going for what you kind of always wanted. Why are you laughing?
I don't know, man. I'm sorry.
But
but
it's the instant gratification rather than the delayed gratification. So a lot of people, this is just a stupid example, a lot of people want a six-pack.
Of course.
They wish they had a six-pack. That's probably what they want most. But right now they want to have a Mars bar, so they're going to have a Mars bar.
100%.
And it's like business as well. Like people want to have the fancy car and the big house and the lavish lifestyle, but they're not willing to put in the work now in order to get it.
Yeah.
You need to sacrifice for success.
Yeah.
It's like, if you go out and drink every weekend, for example, and you're spending £300-500 a month on going out drinking.
Yeah.
What more could you be doing with your time? Yeah, okay, you're going to have a great time when you're out that Saturday night. But
your friends will love you.
Yeah, but is that adding to the long-term goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you maybe want to do it now, but is it aiding the long-term goal?
Yeah.
And I think that's society wrapped up in a sentence. I really do, because
I agree with
so
that.
many people have dreams and goals that they want to accomplish.
Yeah.
But they're just not willing to do what needs to be done just now in order to hit them later on.
Well, it's like when people, say, oh yeah, you're probably, that's probably not for you. You're not going to do that. Don't do that. All that shit. It's because they're just jealous. They're envious that you have the ability and desire and motivation inside of yourself to fucking do it in the first place. I mean, the people, the most bitter people in the world will tell you that it's, you know what, this isn't for you, buddy. They're just bitter. They're bitter. Bitter people fucking suck.
Yeah, 100%. And normally, if somebody's been there and done that themselves and got to the goal that you're looking to get to,
they'll help you.
Or got to the stage that you're looking to get to, they will help you.
They'll just help you. It's fucking really simple.
It's like a bodybuilder will never slag off somebody that's overweight for going to the gym.
Yeah.
An entrepreneur who's been super successful will never slag off somebody who's looking to start a business.
No.
However, somebody who's never started a business will be quick to slag somebody off who's looking to start a business, or tell them.
Or there's someone who got done dirty in a business deal and got the fucking bad side of it. And
but they'll be quick
it's not going to work.
They'll be quick to tell them this won't work, that won't work. You'll never do that. It's out of reach. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I mean,
just
if you've got
words, words.
Yeah, of course.
Just
if you've got
words.
goals and targets that you want to hit, I always say 4 things: set a goal, make a plan, take action, and stay consistent.
I love that.
Literally, 4 steps to success.
Fucking, by the way, that's the smartest thing he's ever fucking said.
You know who actually said that? Set a goal.
He didn't even say it.
No. I added the 4th one, right? You know who said that? Set a goal, make a plan, take action.
Who?
Ryan Serhant.
Oh, man. He is.
You're Ryan Serhant or Grant Cardone.
Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Sorry to either.
But that's
the way that like each other?
That's the way that I've always thought about things.
Sorry,
and that's the way.
Task.
That's the way that if I've ever had a goal or had something that I want to do, set the goal, make a plan that's going to aid me in getting to the goal, take action, and then stay consistent with the process.
Yeah,
and it will work.
That sounds like a Ryan Serhant thing.
The next one that I've got here is it's essentially.
Do you want to just keep going into that then?
Well, it relays in.
I'm still going to say it because I feel like the audience really wants to know. So discipline is choosing between what you want now from what you want most. I don't know why I was so fucking excited to say that. I'm going to say that like a normal person. Take two. Discipline is choosing between what you want now from what you want most.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
So
basically
again,
the same
it's the same thing. Yeah, it is the same thing.
No, I know. It's just funny.
But
They have different meanings.
it's having the discipline to say no to something now,
Yep.
to saying yes to something that you want in the future.
So,
Like saying no to that Mars bar just now because you want to get a six pack in the future. That's discipline that will aid you in that process, because it's the discipline of saying no now to get finish it off.
what you want most.
Yeah.
But my question to you is, tell me something and tell the audience something that you have sacrificed in the last 30 days to get 1% better.
So
it's a good question, by the way.
It's a great question. I have not drank for 13 weeks. I've not been out on a night out for 13 weeks. Now, last year, or even this year, the summer, I was probably out every weekend.
Okay, wow. All right.
Literally every weekend.
So that's a big change, though. And
it's a massive,
tell us
change.
And me, how do you feel like that's changed?
Well, I'm just
for the better.
I'm
like,
just
do you
more
feel
driven. I'm a lot more productive because I'm now doing things 7 days a week.
Sharper in the mind,
100%.
more motivated, going to the gym.
I'm at the gym more.
Hockey.
I'm dieting better.
Yeah. I mean, you're losing weight like fucking. You're gonna be fucking stick soon. I mean, you're gonna fly in the way.
I'm losing weight. Not out of choice. I'm not trying to lose weight.
No, I know.
But
it's good.
I'm not. I mean,
By the way, drinking just adds weight. I mean, it's just
when
useless.
you drink, your body then can't burn fat for like 48 hours.
Nothing.
So, yeah, I mean, my whole brain fog, everything. Like, I'm just a lot more productive.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I didn't make a conscious effort to say I don't want to drink. It's just happened. I've not fancied it. I've not wanted to go out and drink.
So my experience with alcohol and all that, when I start to maybe get more motivated or inspired by something, it naturally just sort of fades away.
Yeah.
And it's something that doesn't come to the forefront of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, okay, I know I have to get up early to do this thing. If I stay up, not that I would ever go out here because it's too cold, but which is honestly quite nice. I know that's not normally what happens here.
Yeah.
But like, I wouldn't do it because it's like, okay, well, I got to wake up in 7 hours.
Yeah.
It's
it's just
things
the whole,
to do.
It's the whole, when you get into the habit of going out every weekend, it's so easy just to say, oh, I'm just going to go out to the pub.
Yeah, why not?
So I'm glad. I mean, like I said, it wasn't like a conscious effort that I made and I was like, I'm going to wait to stop drinking it. It's just happened. And I've just not had the urge to go to the pub or go out and have a drink. So that's one thing.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. All right, so we've got a couple of questions and discussion points that we want to go over.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read it? I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You fire. I mean, I know you like the talking, so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think everyone knows that.
Everyone.
But I like knowing like how you think, I like knowing a little bit more of the insights into Andy's world. That'd be a great name for a TV show.
The insights into Andy's world.
Not just Andy's world. All right, so consistency is the first topic.
Yeah.
What we have written down is, people say the cliches, but all of that aside, what is one piece of advice that you'd want to give to somebody to change their mindset, about consistency, sort of structured lifestyle, that sort of thing?
I think that one thing that opened my eyes to it is that if you can stay consistent over time and like not give up in that regard, if you can stay consistent, you're going to beat everyone who hasn't stayed consistent. Yeah. So for example, if we relate it back to estate agency terms, like a self-employed estate agent, if you are working in that industry for 6 months and you've been consistently working hard and disciplined for 6 months, you're going to beat everyone who was only consistent for 5 months or 4 months or 3 months.
Sure.
And it's the same in terms of 4 years or 5 years. If you can stay consistent with the same work ethic and discipline for 4 years, you're going to beat everyone else who wasn't consistent before that.
Yeah.
And it's compounds over time.
Yeah.
The consistency aspect of the working hard and the discipline compounds over time. So the one thing that drove me was, if I can just stay consistent, stay on path, then I'm going to beat everyone who's not being consistent.
Of course.
And that used to motivate me. So that's one piece of advice I would give, is that if you're struggling with consistency, think about all the people that aren't being consistent. You want to beat them, right?
Yeah.
The only thing you need to do to beat them is to stay consistent for as long as you possibly can.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and I mean, like, good first steps are stuff that we've talked about in the past to build that consistency. Because, you know, when I think about consistency and how to, you know, develop yourself into that sort of, you know, powerhouse of a sales agent, it's making the bed, it's sending the emails at the same time, it's doing the same marketing pieces to try to get your influence out into the world. It's these tiny things. Pick one of them and just start with that, and then do that 3 days in a row, and then do that 7 days in a row, and then a month, and then blah 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 blah, and then
definitely, I think a great way to start this, we've talked about this book before, but Atomic Habits. Read Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Yeah.
Because it opens your eyes to habits. It really, 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 really opens your eyes to daily tasks and habits.
The light switches.
The light switches, the making
that was
the
a big
bed.
one, by the way. I think about that all the time.
Well, it's mad.
I'm like, wait,
so
why did I do that?
did we talked about this on the podcast?
I think we did, but I mean, we could do a synopsis.
So essentially, in the book Atomic Habits, one of the small examples he gives about habits is when you walk into a room, you put the light on.
Yeah.
Now that's a habit that you've built up over time, but you don't even think about that habit that you've built up.
No.
So that book essentially teaches you how to break down a habit, form new habits, break bad habits. But it's awesome for discipline, and I think that discipline and consistency work hand in hand. I don't think consistency works without.
You can leave one out.
I don't think consistency works without discipline, and I don't think discipline works without consistency.
Very synonymous.
Yeah, so I think that teaches you a lot about discipline and just doing things. I mean, if you say to yourself you're going to do something, just do it. If I said to you I was going to do
just keep the promises you make yourself.
If I said to you I was going to do something, I would do it. But sometimes if I say to myself I'm going to get up and go to the gym at 6 a.m, you don't get up and do it.
Well, that's because we're also just naturally very bad at taking care of ourselves. Right? Like
we actually talked about this,
right? And so I figured out the stat because it was in that episode. It was like 95% of pet owners will make sure that their pet takes the full dosage in perfect habit or whatever.
Yeah,
like the structured daily routine.
Yeah,
and then only 45% of people will follow through with the same sort of concept.
And antibiotics.
Yeah. 45% more.
So I know.
Double will take care of something else. And like, don't get me wrong, I love dogs, I love animals. They're predators. Like.
that was the wrong
word. No, what I meant was like. They're animalistic. They don't give a fuck about us.
Well, dogs do.
But sure, they might get sad. But that's a trained behavior. That's a learned behavior. I think more than anything, because they'll love anybody. Mm-hmm. Any fucker who gives them fucking treats and a back rub and whatever, like, you're my best friend. You know. I think it's more learned, but. I was going somewhere with this, and I think to round my point up, we should go to the next point. I'm just kidding. No. But what I was saying is, like, we're just really bad at taking care of ourselves, and that's, I don't know if this is like a selfless act. I don't know, like, why we do it.
I think, I'll be honest with you,
because we always call people selfish.
I think it's laziness a lot of the time. Like with antibiotics, it's laziness.
Well, yeah, fucking better be something. I mean, Jesus. I got a really stuffy nose, by the way.
You do?
Oh,
your sinuses. Yeah. So, next thing we've got here.
Yeah. Growth mindset.
Growth mindset.
Yeah. You want me to take this one, or you want to?
Yeah.
I'm happy to listen.
Run with it. I mean, I can talk, but we all know I can talk, so I'll let you talk.
We all know that. Yeah, fucking Big Andy here. All right. Well, no, because I'm feeling a lot of questions today. I don't know why, but I'm feeling a lot of questions, and I'll chip in. But what I want to know is. Growth mindset's almost like a cliche term, really. You gotta have a growth mindset. I mean, we could walk in a fucking, what's that? Is it Waterstone, the fucking book place?
Yeah.
You can walk in there and there'll be, you go to the self-help section, everything's growth mindset and 10x yourself.
Yeah.
Do you think that this has any validity? Or what do you mean? Like, what do you think it means?
So the one thing that I think a growth mindset means is reframing situations. So looking at the situation with a different outlook. Yeah. For example, I'm going to keep banging on about this, but failure. Okay. Yeah. If you have just failed, rather than, oh, well, I failed, so that's that, it's done. With a growth mindset, you would reframe the situation and say, well, I just failed. I now know what isn't going to get me to where I want to be. I'll try something else. Yep. And it's looking at the growth aspect of it, reframing the situation from, oh no, I've just failed, to, oh well, I'm now one step closer to getting to where I want to be because I've just failed. Yeah. So it's just reframing the way that you look at the situation from, oh no, to, oh well, this is what we can do moving forward kind of thing. Yeah. So I think that growth mindset and reframing are two things that kind of come together. Simpatico. Yes. Yes. And that's my outlook on a growth mindset.
Okay. Yeah. No, I would be pretty much the same. In golf, we always talked about growth mindset and different types of motivations and how to, optimize your performance and all that. But, when I think about it and what I'm doing now, my growth mindset is more of making the small things matter. Yeah. Yeah, I think that it's the 1%. On the other side, the growth mindset is a 1% bonus for me. Yeah, well, I think that's my growth.
I think that actually it almost comes back to the cast and shadows quote that you talked about. Like in some way or another, you need to reframe the situation. If you failed, that's a growth mindset. But growth mindset in the way that there's always room for improvement. Always. You're never as good as you can be. No. There's always room for improvement. Yep. So I think that everyone needs to always remember that as well. Is that I can always get better. There's always somebody bigger. There's always somebody stronger. There's always somebody that's got more money.
And that goes for every single profession, and no matter what business you're in.
Unless you're Elon Musk.
Yeah, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT of life, actually.
I mean, he is. It's Elon's world, and we're just living in it just now. That's for sure.
Fucking unbelievable that guy does. He's so fucking fascinating. Yeah, I mean, we talked about him for a while yesterday. I mean, he's just so fucking captivating. Like, I just feel like we have to talk about him all the time.
I'm just constantly impressed with what he's doing.
It is.
Constantly.
Yeah. And he doesn't give a fuck. It doesn't appear to. Well, at least. I don't even know if he knows how to feel that.
It's Elon's world. I mean? We're just living
okay. So sorry. So discipline and choosing, we've kind of touched on this, I think. Well, we definitely talked about it quite a bit. Now, you wrote this, so can you just explain to me why you wrote choosing? So I can.
That was meant to be choosing what you want now.
Okay. Good.
No, so this next thing, I'm going to ask you these.
Okay.
If that's okay.
That's totally fine.
So these are this is almost like the deep questions that we've done in the past. So
I love those.
Yeah, I mean, I think this segment allows people to understand us on a deeper level.
Yeah.
So the first one here, Callum, does success make you happy?
Yes. Rapid fire answer would be yes.
Okay.
I'll explain. In a lot of the things I've been reading. Oh, yep.
Before we move on,
please.
What's your definition of success?
Oh, wow. I think we talked about that before. I'm definitely going to have a different answer, by the way. There's no consistency in my answer for this question.
Well, but that's okay, because your definition of success will change over time, and depending on how you're feeling and depending on what stage of your life you're at, what stage of your business you're at, it's okay for your answer to change. Because I think I said
something about how I wanted to positively impact the lives of my friends, family, people around me.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that was bullshit when you said that.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't give a fuck about you. So, obviously, it's not entirely false.
But I'm joking.
Yeah, so, fuck. So, yeah, I'd say that it's still very similar to that. But what I'm trying to figure out for myself is how do I actually get better at that? I'm very guilty for not always being the most fucking great guy. and I'm okay admitting that, but I'm
Yeah.
also trying to figure out how to
Improve.
counter and balance that out in my life where, I am positively impacting people, not just myself. Even I'm trying to maybe broaden that a little bit into strangers.
Well, what we're going to be doing over the next couple of months
it kind of ties into exactly that. Like, we don't know really any of the people who are about to sign up for that, right? But it's a positive impact if we can get it right and people enjoy it. So, yeah, for me, that is definitely a bit of success. Obviously, there's the financial success, which I kind of keep separate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say that you won't do things for money because money creates security and safety, which is a form of success.
Yeah,
obviously.
100%, yeah.
Because if you have money, you can provide for your family, you can provide for everybody around you if you feel so inclined and you make enough.
Yeah.
That's huge. But, I try to keep that kind of separate. I try to focus on being the most successful individual I can, recognizing the shadows and
Well, it's you against you. Right?
Yeah, I'm fucking battling the yin and the yang every day.
So then, what does success make you happy? Then yes.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. No, I agree.
You think so?
Well, one of the reels that we posted yesterday, I don't know if you saw it. Probably not.
Oh no! Oh yeah.
So in that, you don't know what I'm talking about. So in that, it's a clip of me talking about how all these people who are super successful have gone through a lot of shit in their life, i.e. they've got bad relationship with their kids, bad relationships with their family, and they've gone through hardships. And the question that I asked in the video was, is it worth it? Now, some people have asked me off the back of that video, you didn't answer the question yourself. In my opinion, yes, it is worth it.
Yeah.
The hardships and the relationships with, these are just things that occur.
Yeah, it's also narrow-sighted to say, well, it's not worth it because you're breaking things up and making things harder.
But I think the point of the clip was that a lot of people glorify success. They think of the nice cars, the big houses, and they idolize that, whereas they don't think about all the negatives.
Sure.
The relationship with kids, relationship with family members, the hardships, the struggles, the pressure, the stress. They don't think about that.
No.
In my opinion, yes, it is worth it because it gives you purpose in life.
Yeah. What's a life without purpose?
Exactly. It gives you purpose. Yeah, there's sacrifices, but regardless of whatever you do, you're always going to have to make sacrifices. Always.
Always.
It's one thing that I've learned in the short 27 years I've been on the planet is that you've always got problems in your life.
Yeah.
If it's not one thing, it'll be something else.
Yeah.
Those are sacrifices that I would be willing to make. So is it worth it? In my opinion, yes, it is.
Do you think that certain people are given more burdens?
Yeah, but I think that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Unfortunately,
I think I don't know if this is
a
like
lot
a
of the
real
time,
saying, but it's like like you only get what you can handle, right? So some people have a pretty easy ride.
So, Jimmy Carr quote.
Oh wait, the one that we talked about.
Yeah.
Do you remember it?
No.
Neither do I. But it was
like,
so fucking good.
Show me a trust fund kid, and I'll show you somebody who's mentally...
something about your character, like something like...
Yeah, so you don't... It kind of goes back to the six-pack thing.
Yeah.
You don't get self-esteem from having a six-pack. Yeah. You get self-esteem from the person that you become by going to the gym every day.
Yeah.
And it's so true.
Discipline.
Consistency. Like, honestly, those two things...
We've been saying that a lot today.
Discipline and consistency.
Yeah.
That's the two things that I would say has separated me from a lot of new agents when I started. Was I was consistent and I was disciplined. If I said I was going to do something, I did it. If I said I was going to post a video a day, I posted a video a day. I just did it.
Keep your promises.
I did it, yeah.
The next one's good, by the way.
So, Callum, if money and status were no object, what would you do?
Wow. I would do...
As in...
Yeah.
If you didn't need money, right? If you didn't need money, like as in, what would you do for a career if money didn't come into it? If you could get paid... I'm just going to say that. If you could get paid $2 million a year to do whatever you wanted to do, what would you do?
I'd probably do something very similar to what we're trying to do. I'd do it, and I'd probably have different avenues, but this is also part of like my lifelong mission and what I want to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of things outside of what we do in the business world, like business gives you that opportunity to help a lot of other people. And what they're looking for is some sort of a platform, some sort of they're looking for something to just catapult themselves to the next level. So yeah, I think that I would probably I want to do something like that. Making people happy makes me fucking very happy.
Yeah.
Not to the point where what I have learned in my short life as well is every year I get older, the more I realize I need to be much more careful about how much I extend myself. But it doesn't, that sort of feeling that I get from helping people and doing what we're doing right now, like that doesn't change.
No.
I just need to be more disciplined and structured with how I provide myself and who I'm giving myself to.
Yeah.
Because I have been very guilty for giving myself to people that do not give me any fucking value whatsoever.
I hope you're not talking about me right now.
I'm fucking eyeing you down. No. Anyways, let's fucking move on.
This is a fun segment. We've not really had a laugh or anything like that. So.
No, I mean, not really at all.
No.
So let's fucking tune this up a little bit. This is getting fucking just like
crank it up a bit, right? Crank it up, baby.
Never do that again.
I am now. Am I asking you? I'm asking you.
No,
you're asking me.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Overrated, underrated.
Overrated, underrated. This is the best segment of the fucking day. All right, here we go. Apple.
Overrated. I'm totally all in on Apple, but it's overrated.
Okay. Batman.
Overrated. Don't like superheroes.
Haggis.
Underrated. Severely underrated.
I completely agree. Steve Jobs.
Underrated.
Agreed. T.
But I don't think
we can talk about him after.
Yeah, we're talking about him after.
T.
Far, way overrated.
I agreed. Private jets.
Underrated.
Agreed.
We can talk about this.
Yeah. Jake Paul.
I think he's rated right. Let's talk about him too.
Okay. Well, we have a lot to talk about. Mexican food.
Underrated.
Agreed.
My favorite food.
Same. And it's fucking shit over here.
That's the first time we've done that on the podcast.
Wow. Cristiano or Ronaldo? The GOAT.
Rated right.
Thank you. Cold plunge.
Underrated.
Yeah. Overhyped.
Overhyped, but underrated.
Yeah. Okay. How did that sneak in there?
Did you put that in there? I'm not answering that, but they're underrated.
We can guarantee the last thing on this is fucking underrated.
Yeah. Sloppy.
Only if it's good.
Okay, so
let's circle back. Steve
Jobs.
I think we should touch on it.
Let's just briefly touch Steve Jobs.
It's going to be difficult in the casket.
So Steve Jobs, I don't think he lived long enough for people to
appreciate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of nostalgia.
Yeah.
You know, like those movies with like fucking Ashton Kutcher and shit, and they're terrible. Because obviously he was probably nothing like that.
Yeah.
But I do like watching the videos of him later in life. He was still talking in like, what was it, like the mid-90s? That's when they kind of started doing videos of him and stuff. I mean, it's such a fascinating brain.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the stuff that he talks about is really cool. And he comes across as very relaxed, but he was like a shark.
Yeah.
He was a shark.
Yeah. And I think that he had that sort of, that killer instinct.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he was, I mean, he could probably, you could say he's probably the best marketer of all time.
Well, he is, yeah.
I mean, I don't know who else would be in that.
I read an article not that long ago, and it was talking about Steve Jobs or Apple were going to wait to buy over this guy's business. Yeah. And they're sitting in the boardroom, and Steve Jobs says, right, so what are we paying for this business? And the guy was like, 360 million. Steve Jobs is like, there's no way I'm paying you 360 million for your business. We are paying 220 million now. I've butchered those figures, definitely.
Probably.
But
that's unlike us.
He just said, I know, we should get a compilation of all the videos, all the facts that we've butchered.
You remember when Elon sold PayPal for $10 million?
No, I didn't say that. Anyway, moving on. Private jets.
I think he's like 90 something.
So many people overhype private jets, but I follow a guy on Instagram.
Oh, the guy who has like
The
the
jet
office
business.
in London or whatever. Yeah.
And private jets are a really good use of money if used properly.
Yeah.
100%. Because you can get business done on these private jets. You can save travel time.
And once you actually get the jet, of course, the cost of the jet itself is expensive, but these people aren't using their own money to buy the jet anyways. No. So once you figure that part out and then you actually do the flight cost per individual, there's no difference between that and a first class flight.
No, exactly.
Most of the time.
Exactly.
Jake Paul?
This is interesting. I think that he can be a tool. I think that he is a genius marketer. Talk about being good at marketing. Talking about
Have we talked about Prime?
Talking about getting eyeballs on yourself and on your brand. I mean, the two Paul brothers, Prime, Logan Paul and Jake Paul, what they've done.
The KSI and all them, like that fucking group of people, they're all the same to me.
But I mean, Jake and Logan Paul certainly have probably done the best out of them all.
Oh, yeah.
But I just think it's mesmerizing how they've taken social media and built empires off the back of their personal brand, and I think that so many people are now doing it.
Yeah,
and they did it when nobody had done it before. Like it was uncharted territory.
Pioneers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that I think that they get a lot of shit online, and they can come across as fucking idiots.
Sure,
but the strategy behind all that, they're doing all that for a reason. Jake Paul's doing all this for a reason.
Yeah.
And he's making, by the way, he's making like 40-50 million pound or bucks per fight.
Yeah.
There's no other boxer really that's doing that unless it's...
I think he was wasn't he like the highest paid boxer of all time for that fight?
I mean, people are slagging him off in the ring, right? And I get, for maybe a boxing purist, it probably isn't the best to watch, but...
Well, no, because you can tell it's fixed. I mean, obviously Mike Tyson could have killed that guy.
I don't know if he could have at 50. Not at 58.
Yeah, man. Did you see?
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
I'm fucking disagreeing here.
I'm not buying it.
When you watch the fucking Mike Tyson training videos, the guy looked just as horrifying as he did.
Yeah, but there's nobody trying to punch him in the face.
No, here's the thing. I've seen plenty of fucking
Jake
clips.
Jake Paul is in his prime. He's like 28.
He's gone for a fucking right hook, and he's just pulled back just slightly. And he could have clocked the guy 4 or 5 times.
Listen, I love Mike Tyson. I probably like Mike Tyson more than I like Jake Paul, but Jake Paul's a 28-year-old man in his prime, and Mike Tyson's a fucking granddad.
We could beat him in a fight.
Who?
Paul.
Jake Paul?
I think we could take... No, we're not taking Tyson. Do you think we could take on...
No.
No?
He's got the best trainers in the world. He's been boxing for like 5 years. Fucking
Have you ever
solid.
boxed?
No, but 2 of my best friends that I live with at home are both boxers. One's a pro boxer.
I'm not beating them either.
I've sparred with Chaz once, right? And this is the most humbling experience I've ever had.
Like,
I'm bigger, stronger in most cases than what Chaz is. I'm 75, 76 kilos. Chaz fights at like... Chaz actually walks about like 72. He's small. But he fights at like 61, something like that. I sparred with Chaz before he was even a pro boxer, like years ago.
Yeah.
Like probably like fucking 8 years ago, 9 years ago. And I couldn't even hit him. And I'm like quite an athletic guy. Like normally I would
fucking punching shadows.
Normally I would pick up a sport, no problem at all. Like if I was to box against your average person, I would probably beat them.
Sure.
I couldn't even touch him. I couldn't even hit him. It was fucking embarrassing.
That is embarrassing.
It was embarrassing.
That's so sad.
I'm like, Chaz, I'm sorry.
My fucking ego's gone. I'm out of here.
I'm not sparring with you again,
mate.
Over.
Yeah. Oh, man. How are we doing for time?
We're about there. I think leave on a thought.
I'll say the second thing. You say the first.
No.
No.
Okay. Anything that you want to finish?
That's not what I wanted to click on. I'll say the last part, and then you can kind of just give your spiel. You can't have an easy life and a great character.
I think that was the Jimmy Carr quote.
It was.
But it's... You learn from what you go through.
Yeah.
And you're never going to learn, you're never going to improve, you're never going to know what to change if you don't go through shit. Yeah. And I think that if you look at we always relate it back to business,
Of course.
or sport. If you look at these super successful people, whether it be business or sport, they've gone through so much shit in their life.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe some of them have got lucky and had to deal with a lot less shit than what others have gone through.
Yeah.
But I think that in order to build character, you need to go through shit.
Yeah.
You need to. I
Yeah.
mean, if
have no choice.
you've been given everything to you your whole life, never been told no, always got what you wanted, always succeeded in everything that you did, you're gonna be a spoiled little brat for a start, and you're not gonna know. That's not life. That isn't life.
No.
It's like pie in the sky shit.
Yeah.
I think that you need to go through shit in order to build character, and you need character nowadays in life. You just do.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
No,
That wasn't really. I didn't make much sense in my head there, but I hope that I got my point across.
No, I think the audience and myself are clear as crystal on what you were talking about there. So my interpretation of that is very similar to yours. You know, it's kind of you're going to become a brat, right? And in the beginning of this quote was talking about how, you know, show me a trust fund kid who,
and I'll show you somebody who's mentally tortured.
Yeah.
That was the quote. Show me a trust fund kid, and I'll show you somebody who's
Right.
mentally tortured.
And like you were saying, like you have to go through the hardships, you have to go through the struggles, you have to figure out, you know, how do you figure out who you are? What are you gonna do?
Builds character, builds personality.
And it kind of starts off when you're really young. I mean, we could obviously do a deep dive into like how kids are developed and raised and all that shit. And like we could talk about our childhoods and some of the things that we've gone through to figure out how we could easily be here.
Yeah.
And there will be tons of reasons why we're here, sitting here today. And it's all about stuff like this. It's all about going through the tough times and, you know, chipping away at yourself. And
I've got a great question for you.
Okay.
But we're going to save it for the next episode.
Fucking cliffhanger. Oh, fucking asshole.
But that's been an hour.
Okay. Andy, it's been great. Thank you.
This was episode number 9. 10's the next one. Hey, that's a milestone.
That's fucking great, by the way.
So, there's a big question coming in the next episode.
Yeah, stay tuned.
You should watch it.
You should definitely watch it.
Thanks, Callum.
Thanks, Andy.
See you, bud.
Bye.